Virgos. Well, look, I really love that Jupiter moving into a worldly part of your sky. So it's all about new adventures, travel. It's about understanding not only where you're supposed to be in the world, but enjoying the exploration itself. I do think that, especially in May, there may be some Virgos out there who say, you know what, I want to go back to school. I want to pursue a higher degree. Who may say, you know what, I want to expand my horizons in some way. I'm sick of feeling restricted. I want to go out in some way and try new things and have new experiences. And there's this sense of confidence and an energy that feels like it has more. The word that comes to mind is chutzpah, right? Like you got more chutzpah. You're so ready to engage the world and engage other people and meet new types of people as well. That'll have you doing all kinds of things, whether that is going out into the world, meaning in your own city, in your own region, or whether that's a wider sense as well, like actually taking a plane or going across the country in some way. These are the types of new things and new experiences that you may feel drawn to, or new ideas as well may call you at this time. Considering that we also have that Venus retrograde happening in the sign just before yours, so much of that Venus retrograde season I see as closure. That's what I see as the larger theme of it. So either it's going to represent an inner restlessness, and that can actually end up being really good because a lot of that more shocking energy that the Venus retrograde season could bring will end up feeling more calm for you and working out sort of in your dream space. The other thing is that, yeah, where it is that you may need closures with certain people or certain chapters of your past, whether that's in love or otherwise, you'll get a chance to really find that deep sense of healthy closures that you need. But also where this Venus retrograde season is taking place, what I really love about it is that, yes, it has to do with closing karmic ties, ending karmic chapters, but it's also about connecting very deeply to a knowing that there's more you have to do in this lifetime. That conviction, like you don't need to have all the details. You don't need to know all of what it is, but you know that there's more you have to do in this lifetime. And that can be part of the excitement of this time as well. You don't need to know all the details. It's the conviction itself that takes root and then really starts to set in very big ways. But I would also add, where it comes to love, look, Saturn is moving into your opposite sign. Saturn in your opposite sign, a 3-year cycle, is going to help you to get honest about where you are in love and why and how you feel about it. The universe knows that some of your most important learning is going to come through partnership. And so you will likely, if you're one of those Virgos who finds it hard to connect with people and date people, people are going to be there to help you to understand where you are in love. It is about either getting honest about what is so that you decide whether or not it's working for you, or it's about engaging new experiences, different experiences, or solidifying bonds that are already there. Ultimately, the root is honesty and a more grounded perspective of what love is and what you need love to be going forward from here. Those are some of my thoughts where it comes to Virgo. What about you, Tamara? What do you think?
Totally on par with you. Definitely see them educating themselves in probably more unique ways than even they have thought. That I think COVID has helped them understand a more spiritual section of themselves. And also they're very analytical. We know that about Virgos. And so they might even get into things like astrology and tarot and that type of healing work, the spiritual realm, the esoteric areas, the occult. I'm going to say that many Virgos will trip that switch and will start to, do what they would feel would be called more meaningful education. That doesn't mean that they won't take other things that'll be more traditional, like, maybe nursing or caregiving, that type of a thing. They do have the ability to do such things. But they're also, they can work better in small groups as opposed to large groups. So they don't do well in chaos, I don't think. I think if you put them, let's say, put a couple of earth signs together, putting together a herbal compendium, for instance, instance, or, putting all the herbs out, bagging herbs, anything to do with nature, but healing at the same time. So herbs comes to mind, that type of a thing as well. I think a lot of our Virgo people will get connected to that type of a thing, or even doing garden work or making food gardens, maybe landscaping, maybe environmental things, maybe working with animals. This type of a thing, I think, will be more up their alley, but also they would be the ones who might take the administrative part. Okay, so they might not all be on the outside in nature, but they've gone out to nature or whatever, and then come back in. How many squash did we get? How you know what I mean? And they do like to have their list. This is why I said something about a herbal compendium. It actually is a memory of putting a couple of people to work together who Capricorn, Virgo, and they put a huge herbal compendium together for me with my direction, and they were fantastic. And that's the kind of energy I'm seeing here too. I do think though that they are going to be dealing with let me think how to say this. I think many of them have endured relationships that do not speak to their souls. Many. And this is the year they're going to shake it off and move it forward. And I think very much like the Taurus, I was saying something about the Taurus sign, also sort of looking at some of that. Many Tauruses will stay in the relationships, so will the Virgos, but they will recognize that there are problems and they've got to address it. And they cannot sit quiet any further. And if they don't think there's a way out, a way to fix it, they're going to find a way out. And I don't think they're going to wait another year. I think this will be the year that they make those changes. So it may start in a very subtle way. Oh, I have to go to school over here, so I'll see you. We're going to get a room over there, and may start without it being super clear to everybody what's up. Virgo is a little tiny bit shyer than the Taurus, where the Taurus is, I'm moving out or you're moving out, and this is why. The Virgo won't do that. The Virgo is just a little more subtle about it, a little more secretive, a little more private. And that's because they really do not like confrontation. They are not the bull. They are not. They are way more mutable, as we know. And so they can be conned into staying. So they'll be quiet until they're sure they have their footing. And then it'll just go flip. And they'll do it. So I think they'll wait it out. And again, I think you right on some of the energies that you mentioned. None of this will happen likely until June-ish. Okay. But I do like what I see there. I think in the meantime, they're going to be looking at education. So that's how they'll take the first part of the year, is getting involved, getting their footing, starting to feel more confident with themselves, feeling happier about what they're choosing to do in their lives, feeling proactive. They like it. They can analyze themselves. They are doing productive things, and they're going to be happy with themselves. So that's going to give them the power, empowerment that they need to make the next step, which will be cut ties that don't work for them, cutting cords that are no longer serving them and or hurting them. And I think our Virgo sign is probably one of the signs that tolerate unhappiness the longest. And
wow.
So
that's so insightful. Yeah, Tamara.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah, you're so right.
Yeah. And I think that they're going to fight for themselves this year. So yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautifully put, Tamara.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's incredible. But I really would. I always wish all the signs a lot of luck. But yeah, let's hope some of those wonderful blessings that you mentioned, the blessing of being able to know what you want and speak up for it and move towards it. What a great blessing that we have to be able to do that.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think the other thing, I am very interested by what I see here. I got the Queen of Wands in reverse with the Nine of Swords. It tells me there may be a matriarchy in your family that you'll have a concern for this year as well. I'll just leave it at that. But I do think I'm seeing that for many Virgos. Okay?
Sending love to the Virgos for sure.